I just want to say that thank you very much for attending this webinar. The topic is so critical, so important in our work, especially the HR professionals. And so attending this webinar will help all of us to update our minds or our knowledge about workforce and succession planning. For us to look at what we want to do and achieve, I normally call it takeaways. The takeaways that you will go with after this program, which of course technically is objective of the program. I would say that we'll try as much as possible for you to understand how workforce planning dovetails into succession planning. We also want to know the categories of workforce plan. What are the categories? And then we also look at, we'll try to identify the components and process of workforce planning. We also want you to be aware of the triggers of workforce planning. What triggers that? We will look at that, and succession planning. Again, we want you to appreciate the benefit of succession planning to the organization. It's so critical, and if you don't know the benefit, you will not even be able to go into it. We also want you to identify levels of succession planning. The several levels we want to look at, want you to know, so that when you are doing your succession planning, you will know exactly which level or where you are operating. And then also to identify the profile and determinants of successes. In fact, most of the time we need to really identify the profile of people, and then what should help us to determine successes in an organization. And then we'll also try to fashion out the monitoring and evaluation of succession planning process in the organization. These are learning objectives. They are things you will take away, but it is not exclusive. Sincerely, there will be other things that you may notice and find it so important, so critical, and you may also want to add that one to what we have outlined. Now, let us look at our understanding of workforce planning. Sincerely, I want you to give me your own understanding. Earlier on, our good brother said, look, it's going to be very interactive. And so let's start from here. If anybody has any understanding of workforce planning, let us know. When you were nominated to attend this section, I think when you got to know the topic, you had some reflection on it, and you might have thought of what it's all about from your own perspective, not from any perspective, not from a Google point of view or from any textbook point of view, but your own feeling, your own guts. What do you think workforce planning is all about? Or if you like, leave out the planning and give me what workforce entails. Explain that one to your grandmother at home.
I was saying that a workforce is engaging some people to work for you in order to pay them. And these people, you need to manage them very well.
Thank you very much, Rebecca. Thank you. Thank you. Any other view, perspective? Benjamin, Ben.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So workforce, I'm looking at both the direct and indirect people that are that have been engaged by an organization and contributing to the productivity or success of that particular organization or institution.
Okay, so we are all talking about engagement of people. And then we're also talking about directing people. To do what the organization wants them to do. Ben and Rebecca, thank you very much for the perspective that you have given us. We would, I would also want to look at what others said when I was trying to put together this webinar. I interviewed a lot of people and just refined the inputs, the perspectives that people gave me. And one of it is workforce implies numerical strength and the assets that people in the organization have. So it's talking about numerical strength, manning level, HR people, you know. How many people do you want to use? And then also talking about assets that people have. What is in the people? And it says the asset of the people are knowledge, skills, abilities, energies, capacity, attitude, and self-motivation that they have. So in looking at workforce, you are looking at numbers and you are also looking at the quality of the people. And when we talk about the quality, we are talking about level of knowledge. We are talking about level of skills, abilities they have, energies, capacity, attitude, and self-motivation. So workforce is not it does not end at numbers, but also moves on to quality of the individual that you are using, the people you are engaging. So that gives us some view, some other dimension of workforce. And when I say asset of people, how do you use the asset? We are saying that when the asset, that is knowledge, skills, special abilities, capacity, and so on, are released through the creation of enabling environment, they become resources to be utilized. And that's why we call people human resources. They have assets in them. If we fail to create the environment for them to, or for the organizations to utilize the asset, it will not be a source of resource. It will just be asset in them. So dead. It will be like gold, bauxite, whatever in the ground or in the earth. They remain assets. Once you mine them and refine them and use them, once you do that, they become resources. And you can use it for anything at all. You can then use the gold for rings, you can use them for chain, you can use them because they are resources. And so when we are talking about workforce, we are talking about numbers, we are also talking about skills, knowledge, abilities in them, and we're also talking about the environment within which they are operating. If we fail to create the enabling environment, then we will not have good workforce, or we'll just have people around, and that is it. And let me ask this question. Most of the time we say that human resource, or even we say people, is our greatest asset in an organization. Is it true or not? Anybody to give me answer? Are people our greatest asset?
If they come with the right knowledge, the right skills, abilities, energy, capacity, attitude, and the right motivation. And in return, we create an enabling environment for them.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Sincerely, that is it. We can say yes, but if you say yes generally for everybody, no, not everybody is an asset for the organization. Unless you are the right asset, having the right knowledge, having the right skills, having the right abilities, then you become an asset. So when we are describing people as the greatest asset of the organization, let's bear in mind that we are talking about right people, people of a certain caliber in terms of knowledge, in terms of abilities. Thank you very much. Benjamin.
Hi, Doc. Thank you so much. So I wanted to find out, sorry for asking the question, is it more about the person possessing all these skills, abilities, and capacities, or beyond just possessing them, using it to add impact to the business. Because I'm thinking I may be an asset having these skills, but for me, I'll call an employee an asset when he has these skills and is able to use them effectively to contribute to the business. I don't know if my question is clear.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I think we are saying the same thing. We are saying that if you have the knowledge and skills, you are an asset, really. But for you to be a resource, utilization of it, for you to be a resource, we need to create the enabling environment for them to show. So the people will come, present themselves with the assets, everything in them. If as an organization or as management, if we failed to give them the right environment, we can't even call them resources. They can only remain as assets. And they'll be there moving around. And you may be blaming them for not doing anything. They have something in them. They have assets in them. But they need to have an enabling environment to work.
Yes, I just gave you a thumbs up because Esther's submission was to the effect that, yes, these people have the knowledge, skills, and ability, and they are also exposed to the enabling environment. That is what you buttressed. So I just gave a thumbs up and lowered my hand.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's all we want. Let us all share. Let us all query and all that. So we learn as we move on. Fantastic. Fantastic. And I just want to emphasize the importance of people in the organization, or importance of resources, human resources in the organization. So I'm saying that organizations, and it's a quote, organizations do not succeed, people succeed. It's the people who are in the organization that succeed and not the organization itself. If the people fail to succeed, the organization will not succeed. And therefore, we need to place more emphasis and importance on the right people in the organization. Again, success in our institutions, organizations, depends on having the right talent in the right jobs at the right time, and we have said all that. Hence, the need for workforce planning. And that's why we need to do workforce planning. If we fail to do workforce planning, we will not be able to achieve whatever we want to achieve. God, these have given us the background that workforce is so critical. And we need to do something to it. We need to process it, pass it through the right environment, and we will get whatever they want us to get. Okay. Now, with all what you have given us, let us look at what is workforce planning, the planning itself of workforce. And we are saying that workforce planning is the process for analyzing and forecasting the talent needs of the institution, as well as determining the measures to meet the needs over the short, medium, and long-term period. So we are looking at analyzing what we have and what we need to have, and forecasting, giving ahead of time what we will need in the short term, what we will need in the medium, and all that. But it must be people of certain caliber, and that's why we say talent needs of the institution. And so if you are planning for your workforce, then it's not just simple, it's a process. And you don't just sit and say, oh, I need 24 people. You need to analyze something, and we'll go into that. And you also need to forecast and say that, oh, upon my analysis, I've seen that I would need this, that. And you put it there. Okay. Any other view, any other comment, any other addition to this that you also have? And then we can add to that. Triggers for workforce planning. Why is it that we should do workforce planning? Why? What should tell me? What should remind me or prompt me or push me to think of planning my resource? But let me say that before we come to the triggers, let me say that workforce planning applies to new setup and also existing organization. So you can do your workforce planning before you even come into being. You have your organization operating. And then you can also do workforce planning whilst when you have been in operation for a very long time, and now you want to do very, very objective one. You want to do a scientific one, so that you know that your planning, your workforce planning is good, and you are good to go. Okay, but what should also trigger us to do that, or trigger that action? Uncertain economic conditions can do that. When economic conditions are not good in the country where you are operating, you may want to look at your workforce levels, because you may want to say that, okay, let me stop doing this. And if you are stopping doing something, then you need to optimize your workforce levels. And so that can trigger workforce planning. Fierce world competition. Today, the world is a global village, and whatever is happening in America is also happening here. Whatever knowledge they have in China is here, because people are just transporting and importing ideas and all that. So you may be operating in Germany, but you have competition all over the world, from China, from US, even from Africa. And so, and if you are in Africa, you know the competition you are going to go through, especially where you want to export. It's not easy. Okay? And then the level of government intervention. Sometimes government may intervene in your operations and says, look, I want to have a share in it. Or you are an international organization. I just want to give you 3 expatriates. All your staff must be Ghanaians. And then that will also mean that you may want to employ more Ghanaians at the top. So you need to plan that. Or I want you to have more foreigners to come and train Ghanaians. So all your top should be expatriate, and they are 15. So then you also have to adjust and plan your levels. Rapid development in technology. And you know today technology is the focus for our processes and procedures. And so when we have it, it gives us some opportunities and some benefits, and makes us a bit smarter and sharper in doing things. And so you that can also push you to look at your workforce planning. And then global pandemic. You know, COVID-19 came, and you saw the changes we all have in organizations. Okay? And so that could also make you behave that way. These are external factors, sincerely, and we need to look at it. And even in the country now, as at now, we know what we are going through. Organizations are thinking of looking at their workforce planning, and some of them want to increase, others want to reduce, and all that, and also bring in some quality staff. Okay? And so planning will be there for us to do. Okay. Let's move on to internal factors. Sometimes change in strategic focus. The organization may want to change its strategy. And if you change it, it will also affect your planning, people. Introduction, development of new products and services. When you have new products and services, sometimes it brings in people, it takes away people, and all that. And that also triggers aging of employees. People retiring may really affect us. Sometimes in some organizations, you may have, in a year, you may have about 20 people going. And so what do? And you must look at this well ahead of time. And that's why the meaning we explain workforce planning as analyzing and forecasting, looking ahead and saying this is the way it will go. And then technological advancement can also affect us internally. It can be external and internal. Okay, these are factors that will definitely push you to look at the way you do your business. You may not be affected by aging of employees, but you may be affected by technological advancement, introduction or you may be affected by looking at development of new products and services. Because a young organization, you want to expand, so you bring in, and then that will also affect the way you need to look at your resource, your human resources. And then your strategy. Maybe just let's say that you were thinking of only producing internally, but starting, you realize that no, you can go international, and you may start from West Africa, and so you may need new breed of talent for your business, so you may want to look at it. So yes, one factor may not be there, but others may hit you. So let us look at why we have to do workforce planning. It is to ensure adequacy and balance of human resources and the levels required. Adequacy and balance of human resources and the levels required. We need to make sure we have the right number of people in there. We need to make sure that we also have balanced it from all fronts, in departments, at the unit level and all that. And so we will have to do workforce planning to ensure that these things are there. And then also to develop a plan in establishment as used in the public sector. In fact, the public sector use establishment. They don't even use the plan, workforce plan. They say workforce establishment. Based on the needs of the institution. We also have to do that based on the needs of the institution. Critical. And then to develop strategies to recruit and employ persons with requisite competencies needed for achieving organizational objectives. So the one purpose is to develop strategies to recruit and employ persons with requisite competencies. If you don't do your workforce planning, you may not know the need of people and then recruit them with the right competencies. You may not know that. And also to guide selection of successors and implementation of succession plan. Sincerely, succession plan is critical. It's something that we all shy away from in our organizations because people think it's sensitive. It's because we don't do it the way we need to do it, and that's why. And so we wait. So somebody resigns and we are all panicking. Somebody, excuse me to say, passes on and we are all panicking for replacement and all that. But when you do your planning well, your workforce planning well, you take care of the future. And so you take care of your succession plan. When we get there, you will know exactly what I'm trying to say. And also to use as a tool, that is workforce planning. We want to use it as a tool for selecting leaders in the organization. In fact, leaders are critical in organizations. And if you do your workforce planning well, you would then know the caliber of leaders you need to be able to lead the organization to wherever the organization wants to go. Without that, you will not be able to know the kind of leaders you would need for your planning. And that's why we need to do workforce planning. Okay, purpose. Do we have any other idea on the purpose of workforce planning? Workforce planning can be of several shapes. You may have what we call incremental workforce planning. And that will mean you do it. Frances, yes?
No, so I was looking at the purpose of workforce planning, and you were asking why we do it. I was going to add, because of the industry I work in, sometimes if you don't also plan, you have too many staff. In my institution, which is a hotel, we need to have staff on every shift. So we have morning, afternoon, evening shift. But if you don't plan, sometimes you have excesses. So we can reduce costs by doing the workforce planning and effectively too.
Good, fantastic. Optimization of your workforce. Good. And if you don't plan, you won't know it, as you said, Frances. If you don't plan, you will know that you have over or under, and whether you are spending so much You are spending so much on workforce. So let's move on. Holistic workforce planning. I'm talking about a situation where you do it for the whole organization. You can do for departments, and that stays there. But it will bring in imbalance if you have done that for, say, with the case of Francis. If you have done that for those in the beverage area, and then you haven't done it for those in the domestic, those who take care of the rooms and all that. You will not. You may have it well done somewhere, but it may conflict with other department. And so I want us to, what we are going to discuss is a holistic one for the organization. And you may want to use it for other department, all right, because the holistic one is integration of what comes from the other parts of the organization. And so as we move on, we will see the dimension of it, and we ask questions. Somebody. Okay. So first, let's look at the process of workforce planning. I will give you a template that you may want to use as we move on. But the first thing, you don't bother about the process. You can juggle them around, whichever will suit you. Don't worry about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe 1 to 3, fine, but the rest you may want to juggle them around. Now, the first thing, and it's for every workforce plan, whether it's on a very smaller note or whatever in a holistic note, review the organization's strategic focus. What have we set for ourselves to do as an organization? I'm talking about your mission, your vision, your strategic objectives, sometimes your values. That's what I'm talking about. And that is where you want to go. So review it before you do your planning, workforce planning. Other than that, you do your workforce planning, but it may not align with your objectives, your strategic objectives or focus. It may be somewhere. And you may, as Francis said, you will create unnecessary costs for yourself. Because your workforce planning cannot go and achieve your strategy that you have set for yourself. And when that has been done, and most of the time, some of you, at the end of every year or every 2 years or every 3 years, you do what do you call it, strategic sessions and create a focus for the organization. Some of you do it, some organizations do it every year. Okay, so if you have it, it's easier for you to look at and say, oh, this is our strategic focus. Ooh, I see. Then, when you know that, can somebody give me? Sorry, can somebody give me any vision or mission, or it may not be yours, but it can be anything, generic one, vision, mission, or whatever. Think of something. Think of what you know already, or what you have in your organization, or what you have encountered before. Vision, mission of any organization, or even a strategic goal your organization want to achieve. Esther.
The mission of the organization that I work for, the vision is to transform lives through the prevention and treatment of blindness.
Okay. Transform
lives.
What?
Lives through the prevention.
Through the
prevention.
Prevention. Good. Prevention.
Yes, prevention and treatment of blindness.
And treatment.
Treatment.
Okay.
Of blindness.
Blindness. Oh, good. Woo, good. Humanitarian.
Right.
Good. So you are caring for people. Woo. Transform lives through the prevention and treatment of blindness. I like this. Let's use this as we move on. Good. Then the second level, now we know this as our vision, or it's our vision, eh? Is it vision? Esther? Okay, good. Now, when you know this, think of determination of new competencies, core and technical needed to achieve this. And some of these things, this is at a very high level. And if HR is found at that level discussing strategy, the way of being value adding to whatever they are discussing is leading them to do things like this. Determination of competencies, and I'm talking about core and technical competency needed. Competencies, let's limit ourselves to skills that we need, knowledge that we need to help us to transform lives through the prevention and treatment of blindness. We are going to look at that. So you need your people to determine competencies for the organization, and it must come from your vision. And so, can anybody suggest any? Let me explain this. Core competencies. Core competencies means everybody working in this organization must have that knowledge. Whether you are working in the secretarial office, or you are in HR, or you are in this case, it means you will be people on the field or whatever. So that is core, and it's more people skills or soft skills than anything. So for this, what skills do you think we need? What soft skills everybody working for this organization will need? Just give me one or two. We are transforming lives through the prevention and treatment of blindness. And if we are set to achieve this, what will Frances? Yeah, Frances?
I was going to say that because they're dealing with people, this organization must have customer service.
Okay. Okay, customer service skills. Customer service. Okay. Any other? Because you interface with people who are blind and you are servicing them. So, and you know they are sensitive. And so you must have a good customer service skills. Any other that you think we should have as our core? Anybody working for this organization, let's say it's organization K. Anybody working for organization K should have customer service. Any other? I just want one more, and then we can move on. Esther again.
Adaptability.
Adaptability. Okay. Adaptability. Adaptability. So adaptability. And Frances, can you give me that?
Effective communication.
Okay, effective communication.
Because I'm thinking big banks, so we must be able to communicate to them the services we provide.
These are core competencies you want anybody coming to work for that organization K to have. Some may have a very high level of customer service, others may have a middle level, and some low, just being aware of it. But you must have. And so when we are interviewing you to come in, these are the things that we need to look out for, and not your beauty, your dress, your whatever. That one will beat about the bush. But if you want to focus, come in, let's see whether you have customer service ability, whether you can adapt, whether you have effective communication. Then we are working towards transforming lives through prevention and treatment of blindness. Okay, now there is also a technical competencies that we need to also look, because we cannot just have this general. They have different different departments and units. If you are in a particular unit, you need to have some technical knowledge that other people may not have. HR people should not have it, but people on the field may have, or people who do treatment may have. Those are technical and they are very unique to them. So my sister who gave us this, that's Esther. Eh? Esther, can you think of any technical knowledge that people trying to achieve this must have technical knowledge. And let's take one side of you, the field workers. You have field workers, is that it? Ophthalmology, ophthalmology. Good. So this is skills.
It's a medical skill, but for the eyes.
Very good. Thank you very much. Ophthalmology skills. And in fact, these are technical point. This is what I mean by technical competencies, and this may not apply to the service people, those in the office, HR, and all that. HR will also have his own technical competence. HR people will have their own technical competencies, but those on the field may need to have this. And so these are the things you need to set for yourself when you are doing workforce planning. You don't just say you need 20 people. No. The 20 people, what should they come in with? So, but before you do that, there must be a playing ground standards. So the organization must set 10 core competencies and maybe 5 technical competencies for one department, 8 for another department, But that must be done at a strategic level. HR alone cannot do it. So you meet when you have any workshop or any strategy. These must be determined. I know some organizations have them already. Others don't have it. But it's critical for you to have it before you start with your workforce planning. Other than that, you plan and bring in people who don't have these, and it will not help you. It will not help you. And when you do competencies, or when you set out competencies, you can use it for your recruitment, you can use it for your training, you can also use it for, selection, and you can use it for promotion and succession planning and all that, because you want to see that in people. And this is so critical, fundamental. Look at objectives, look at competencies that will take people there to achieve the objectives. Then the next point I want us to look at is review of existing organizational chart in view of existing and future business growth and development. So look at your roles you have now. Just look at that. It rhymes with number 6, but I will get to that. So get your organizational chart reviewed. We are saying we need people, and looking at our strategic view focus, we need people of certain number, or even if you don't have the number, you have to review your existing organizational chart, and that should help you. In fact, just review it, and if you have some numbers from somewhere, fine, you can just even do a new one before you move on. But if you don't have it, review and say that, hey, we are saying that we want to go this way, and we also need competencies of this nature. Looking at the organogram I have, is it going to help us? You need to review that. Then provide tools and templates for the capturing of workforce data. You may, I said it rhymes with number 6. Now, you may want to have tools to collect data. HR can never sit in the office and do the plan. You need to go to departmental heads, unit heads, finance, but they must have a template to fill it. Other than that, it will be a bizarre. Everybody will bring you something. They will write prose for you. So you must design that. Going down the line, I've provided some template, basic one. You can expand it, you can develop it more and more. Then teach department the use of templates, the use of the templates, so that they also know how to use it. I will want to say that review of existing organizational chart should be left out for now. I'll place it well. It should not be number 3. But I'm saying that we can, as you look at it, look at the logical procedure and then arrange them the way you want it. But the point is, you need to have template for them to fill for you to gather the information. Then conduct demand analysis. When we say demand analysis, we are assessing our current and future workforce requirement based on organizational objectives. So when you have finished the organizational objective review, ask yourself, and you have finished your, what do you call it, competencies, ask yourself, how many people do we have now? How many people do we need to have in addition to what we have? You are looking at demand analysis. You may have some down. You may also need to go outside to bring more. Okay. Then you can look at what we call supply analysis. Take inventory of the existing workforce in the organization. How many do we have? Check within, because there's always the need to develop a gap. So when you have looked at the demand analysis, asking for what do we need now and the future, go do your supply. Do you have it already? I don't have it. Or I have 20%. Then you look at the gap analysis. You need 100,000, but as of now, you have only 20,000. What is the gap? The gap is 80,000 that you need to bring in. Conduct gap analysis. Establish gaps and also surplus between workforce demand and supply and needed competencies, because you really need to, sometimes you may have even surplus people that you don't even need to go out. You have to send people home. Redundancy when you are doing workforce planning. And it's not palatable. That's why most organizations don't do it strictly. Okay? But if you are a very serious organization, you want to do it. And most of the time, you will find that you have a gap. You have a gap to fill. In some other situations, you may have surplus staff to deal with. Okay. Then you can then look at competency inventory, because you have already done competency. You have set out your competency. Do an inventory of what the people have. The people you have on the ground, do you have them? Do they have the knowledge you require? Do they have the skills? Do they have the attitudes, expertise, and so forth? And this will result in competency gap for you, okay? Because you have already established the competency gap. Do the inventory among your staff and say whether they have it. We said we have customer service, we have ophthalmology skills, we have communication and all that. Do we really have them in our people? If you don't have them in your people and you have it, maybe you have 100 people, but 80 or 70 people have them. It means you need to provide the rest with the competencies, and that will fall into training. And so training will be part of your learning and development, will be part of your plan because of the analysis. Questions, comments on the process that we have looked at. Okay, so let's move on. So review the organization's strategic focus. I said it. Determination of new competencies. I said it. Review of existing organizational chart in view of existing and future business growth and development, roles and numbers. And that will help you so that you know your numbers. Provide tools and templates for the capturing of workforce data, because workforce data will be number of people a department wants, their competency data. So you ask for that. Age and all that. Their positions, you would have to have a data, a template to collect that data. But I have done something for you down there, so it will help you. And then also teach department the use of the templates. I've talked about it. Conduct demand analysis. I've talked about it. Current and future requirement that you would need. Ask for it. Check. What do you demand? How many people? What competency do you want asking for? And then conduct supply analysis. And supply will always start from within. So take inventory of existing workforce in the organization. And then you see the gap. The demand is here, we need 90. The supply analysis, we have only 70. The gap is 20. Let's go for the 20. And then you do the inventory of your competencies and you say that the 20, they don't have the competencies we have set ourselves. Or they have them, even above the levels we want. And even the 20, the 70 we have, they don't have all the competencies. And so we need to indicate that for management to take action about it. Planning is not doing. Planning is directing, giving information. letting your management know that these are things we need to work on to get the organization moving. So we conduct the gaps and the competency inventory as I have given. Good. Is it clear with the process? Okay, so we are moving on. Let's look at critical areas of workforce planning. Some critical areas I want you to pay attention, and I want it to look like something you can just go home and apply. So I always want us to have a kind of process so that it will not be all that theoretical. A look at critical areas. Determination of core and technical competencies is critical for me. If you don't do it well, you don't have people, you don't have talent within you. I've explained that, but there's one point on competencies. We have core competencies, we have technical competencies, and then we have execution competencies. How will people implement things? They must have certain competencies that will help them to implement. And sometimes project management may be in your competencies. Delegation may be in your competencies because it will help people to know how to implement certain projects. For you to determine competency gap is something that is difficult. And so just have a simple template like this. Establishing competency gap. Again, when you determine your core competencies and technical competencies, department heads should help you to give levels to every department. Every role. For example, let's say, is it Esther? Is it Esther, the one who gave us the vision? Okay. Esther, give me one position in your organization, a position or role. Now, so you take program manager. That is, then you look at the customer-centric we said the people must have. And the levels in competencies, you may also determine level 1 of, if you have level 1, it means you are just aware of customer service, just awareness. Level 2 means you are basic, you have basic knowledge of it. Level 3 means intermediate knowledge. Level 4 means advanced knowledge. Level 5 may mean professional knowledge or expertise. So for each role, determine what level the role must have. So program manager, customer centric, the position level for customer centric or customer service is level 2. That is basic knowledge in customer service. That is what the position requires. So when we are recruiting you to that position, we are looking at the level you have. It's 2. Are you matching to level 2 in your competency about customer service? Then you look at the personal level, especially those who are already in the organization. Personal level, that person doing that job, is he the program manager? What is his personal level in terms of customer centric or customer service? Maybe he's just at level 1, which is just awareness. He doesn't know much about customer service, just awareness. He knows that there's something called customer service. Then you come and subtract the position requirement, which is level 2, from the level 1. And it means he has a gap, and that serves as a training need. So we will give him training needs in basic customer excellence program or whatever, because you just have to have basic knowledge as a program manager in customer service. But looking at you and talking to you and testing you, we realize that you are at level 1, just awareness. You don't even know the basics. So we will then give you training in that area. This is a bit detailed, but it helps for you to even know the training you have to give to the people when you plan for them. When you plan and say you need maybe 20 people for program managers, because they will serve in various areas. You check and make sure their levels are okay. Then you may also want to look at another competency, say professionalism. Sincerely with your work, where you want to treat people with blindness and all that, you will want to be a professional. Do it in a professional way. Don't go and do something that will make them feel bad, that you think they are disabled. They will feel that they are disabled. Okay, so professionalism is critical. And for program manager, we are saying that your position is 3. It means intermediate knowledge, 3. And then program manager, when your supervisor talked to you as a program manager, we saw that yes, you have a competency level of 3. It's in you. Everything you are doing, we could see that you have that professionalism level. And so you don't have, then it means your position is 3. You are also 3. So you have 0. You don't need any training in that area. And you need to indicate all this in your plan. Because at the end of the day, you aggregate it and you say that, 20 people need professionalism training at level 3, at level 4. You need to do that. Then innovation. Maybe you may have another technical knowledge and say innovation. And the position for program manager, 1. You are just program. When we find things, you program for us. So you need only 1. Your level is be aware of innovation. But you as a program manager, you are so good at innovation, and so your level is 4. It means you are even above what we require for you. So positive 3. And so we say sufficiency in competency. No need for training. So if such a person comes to me and say, there's an innovation program going on. Lene is running that. I want to go. Since I came to this organization, I haven't gone to any program, but this one I must go. Your boss will say that, hey, my brother, look at your level. Your position requires only 1 level, but now you are 4. High, advanced. So you can't go. It helps us to also manage our training process. Any questions, comment on this? It looks a bit detailed, but anybody with any question? See, are you following? This one, it calls for commitment. You can teach your top management so that they understand, and then your department head so they understand and they follow and do that for you, so that you do very comprehensive workforce planning. Blossom.
Thank you very much, Doctor. I just want to know, does that mean that with these competencies, we can build up as many as we want or need, depending on the position we are working on? Like, for instance, do we have to do this for a particular role every time? Or we can combine the roles to figure out what, with this particular table, is it possible to combine the role?
Yes. No. Okay. Combine the roles, for example, like learning and development person and recruitment person positions. Okay. So it depends. Sometimes in some organizations there are a combination of roles. Learning and recruitment officer. Depending upon what you are doing, you can do that. If it's easier for you, you can do that. Or if it's established that some roles are combined, you can do that and move on. But the issue again is that if you want to be exact and you can separate them, this is an exercise. Separate them and see where you can, so that you can update the person on or in a particular area. Develop your template, teach them how to use it. Once they have the template, it's easy for them to fill. Okay, so you do that for them, and all the roles. Other than that, you will even have training needs. The training needs will be what somebody will say, I need to go on communication. But the company does not have communication in its competencies. So why are you going for that? Okay, so that's why you set your competencies first. And so you are benchmarking what you are doing with your competencies. Other than that, people will come and tell you so many things, and you train them, and they are not helping in the achievement of the objectives of the organization. So that's why I say it's a special look Let's have a special look at this. But this again, this alone is a big project you need to do in the organization for everybody to understand and everybody to know that, oh, my position, when it comes to customer service, my position is 4. Hey, that is the level I should go. And normally we determine the levels. So 4 is you must be a professional. Or sorry, you must be an advanced person, have an advanced knowledge. But the job I'm doing, me as a person doing the customer service job or whatever, I have program manager. I have 2. My level is 2, and so we need to change you. We need to train you before you can get. And people promote others when they even the job they are doing, they don't have the competency level, and then they promote them to a higher level, and so you have problems. You go there, and that level is even 5. Okay, so this is a very, very. If you want to do it in your organization, you can talk to Lene. They will come and do it for everybody, and then your heads of department and supervisors, and you solve your problem, and they must do it, and they will do it.